Welcome to Angelica Sage podcast series. We discuss topics on health and wellness using a holistic approach. Today's topic is menopause and how to manage your symptoms naturally. Statements that I make have not been evaluated by the FDA and are for educational purposes only, and we encourage you to do your own research and decide what is best for your family. These statements are not meant to treat, diagnose, or prevent or cure any disease or illness. So, menopause can be one of the most challenging times and experiences a woman endures in her lifetime. Changes occur in our skin, emotional behaviors, body temperatures, weight, hair, and breasts. Some symptoms that are common of menopause and even perimenopause, which is what happens to a lot of women before the actual menopause onset, includes day and night sweats, drying of the skin, headaches and dizziness, sleeplessness, hot flashes, chills, vaginal dryness, hair loss, weight gain due to our metabolism slowing down, irregular to no periods, and low libido. So, like I said, these symptoms occur during perimenopause and menopause, and they are experienced differently for every woman, but most women do experience some sort of minor to major hot flashes and mood swings during menopause. So, what causes peri and menopause? Well, there's several different scenarios that start the perimenopause or menopause phase of a woman's life, and one is if you've had a hysterectomy. So, a partial hysterectomy, which is the removal of your uterus but not your ovaries, does not generally cause a woman to experience menopause right away, but you will no longer continue to have menstruation. So your body will continue to produce the estrogen and progesterone necessary to keep your body from menopause. However, if you have a full hysterectomy, which is the removal of your uterus and your ovaries, your body will stop menstruation and the production of estrogen and progesterone that it had once had, and most women will instantly begin to have the hot flash symptoms and other signs of menopause that I discussed a moment ago. Chemotherapy and radiation therapy and other certain cancer treatments can disrupt normal hormonal balance. Chemotherapy actually destroys the cancer cells that are considered fast dividing, which can cause harm to the ovaries and disrupt the process of producing eggs. This can induce symptoms of menopause, which causes hot flashes before and after the treatment. It's not usually permanent, but seems to cause some of the similar symptoms of perimenopause and menopause stated previously. Nature and age. After puberty and prior to your late 30s, a woman's ovaries produce a higher level of estrogen and progesterone hormones, and these levels gradually decrease between your late 30s and early 50s until your ovaries no longer produce eggs and your menstruation ceases to exist, and that's what we call menopause. At this point, it's the adrenal glands that produce similar hormones, but the adrenal glands can, they can be affected by stress and exhaustion, and so they do not adequately produce the amount of necessary estrogen type properties to head off the symptoms of menopause. So today we're going to talk about natural resources that can help suppress the symptoms of your body changing and disrupting the normal hormone structure. And the first thing that I would really like to talk about is some herbal remedies. Isoflavones are compounds found in some plants that have estrogen properties, and they are called phytoestrogens. And here are a few examples of plants that contain these properties that can help suppress some of the symptoms of menopause. The first one is black cohosh. And black cohosh is a native to North America and widely used by Native Americans to ease the symptoms of menstrual cramps. The parts of the plant that is used as a natural remedy is generally the dried root and the rhizome. A rhizome is a root that has numerous shoots from its nodes like a ginger root. Black cohosh is basically a uterine tonic because it regulates the menstrual cycle, relieves PMS, and menstrual cramps and birth contractions. Its amphoteric actions are relaxing to the muscles. So, how does it actually work for menopause? Its properties cause your receptors to affect the mood in a more positive way and regulates the body temperature, which is the main cause of the hot flashes that you endure when you have menopause. It also regulates hormone levels associated with the sexual activity, because usually you have a decrease in libido during this time. So black cohosh will actually enable an increase in the libido. So don't use black cohosh if you're pregnant. It is something that you also should not use with oral contraceptives, because it could interfere with that. And you should also not use black cohosh if you are on any anticoagulant drugs. So the next one is red clover. Red clover is native to Europe, Asia, and North America, and is found growing in meadows generally. The flower tops of the plants are the natural remedy. So red clover is what is considered antispasmodic, so it helps suppress spasms. It's also the flavone glycosides increase follicle stimulating hormones and are estrogenic. So it also, like black cohosh, has those properties to kind of mimic estrogen. Because of that, red clover can help suppress hot flashes, night sweats, and insomnia. So red clover is something that you also should not use if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have any kinds of blood disorders or are on anticoagulants. You should also use caution if, like I said, with anticoagulants, but also with contraceptives as well. So both black cohosh and red clover do have some contraindictions that you have to be aware of if you are going to try to use those. For the most part, most of us don't have to be worried about pregnancy and breastfeeding if we're in menopause, but it's good to note anyway. The biggest part of my topic today, though, is actually using essential oils and aromatherapy during time of perimenopause and menopause. For those of you who may not be so familiar with essential oils and aromatherapy, I'd like to give a short explanation. Essential oils are extracted from flowers, leaves, bark, grasses, fruits, bushes, wood, trees, resins, shrubs, and roots. They are generally steam distilled to produce the essential oils, with the exception of citrus fruits, which are cold pressed extracted to release the essential oils from the rinds. And a select few of flowers are so delicate that they have to be extracted by a solvent extraction, which is not by any chemical means, but it's due to their delicate flowers. So pure essential oils are just that too. They're pure, with nothing adulterating them or diluting them, nothing being added to them, and they're generally organically grown. So the one thing I want to point out is to be taking great caution in the brand that you choose to use, because essential oils are not, if they're not truly pure, they could actually cause damage and be dangerous. So you should be able to know the farms, the company's practices on keeping pesticides away from the plants. The company should know where each and every farm is located, where they get their oils. They need to know the processes they use for distillation, and where their third-party testing facilities are that test for the purity and proper active components that make the essential oil perfect for us. So if you are interested in a free essential oil introduction to essential oils, I do have those, and they're you can go and actually schedule for a free workshop at my website at angelicasage.com, and just click down the workshop menu and schedule your time. So I want to talk personally for a moment about how essential oils actually changed my life during my menopause stage of life. When I first became menopausal, I didn't know what essential oils were, and I had actually never even heard of them. I did know that my choice was to get through this phase of my life naturally without any synthetic medications. That was really important to me. So I started with black cohosh, and it did lessen the intensity of my hot flashes, but I still had the emotional and downright angry bursts at times. I was really angry a lot. I did not like that about myself, because that's not normal. My hormonal imbalance also caused me to gain about 30 pounds and go up about 3 bra cup sizes. This alone caused me to become very saddened and frustrated with myself. I wanted my body back. In about 2 years into my menopause stage, I was actually introduced to the world of essential oils. During my research on using essential oils for my menopause symptoms, I learned that there were several that may help my overall wellness through this time by balancing my hormones, while also alleviating many of the other symptoms of menopause, such as the hot flashes, my irritability, my emotional issues, and the feeling of helplessness that I had. So below, or actually not below, what I am going to talk about are some essential oils that helped me through the menopause phase of my life, and I do hope that they can actually help you as well. The first one is clary sage. And clary sage comes from France, Germany, and Russia, and it is steam distilled from the flowering tops of the plant. It has a very important component that most other plants do not have that makes it unique and especially effective for hormonal balance in both men and women. This special component is called diterpene sclerol. And clary sage helps to promote regular menstruation, has a euphoric effect on one's emotions. That means it induces a feeling of happiness and well-being when it's aromatically inhaled. It's used widely for suppressing hot flashes, night sweats, hormonal imbalances, and irritability. And all I can say is really you just have to smell this most amazing essential oil to get the effect it is well known for. It's just a super aromatic plant oil. Cypress is the next one, and cypress is located in the Mediterranean and Italy. Its leaves and cones and twigs are actually distilled to get the amazing aromatic essential oil. It is one of my personal favorite essential oils. And kind of on the side note of menopause, I find cypress interesting because if you have occasional cramping in your muscles, a drop of cypress with like 4 drops of carrier oil, like sweet almond oil, will suppress the cramping. And if you have hiccups, a drop directly under your Adam's apple, put a drop there, and you'll literally just watch your hiccups disappear. So I just think that's kind of cool. So I wanted to share that with you. But when it comes to menopause, cypress can actually lessen the effect of night sweats associated with menopause. It also has a really nice calming effect emotionally. And if you just take it in with a nice long inhale, it will calm you right down when you're irritated. So it's a good one to have around for that kind of the anger emotion. Fennel comes from France, Germany, and Spain, and the seeds are crushed and distilled to extract the essential oil. It is estrogenic, so that means again that it's an essential oil that may act similar to natural estrogen. So it blends well with the clary sage that I talked about a few minutes ago, and it helps to balance the hormonal levels. So it's a really good oil to add with that clary sage. It also helps lift your libido and is very effective in suppressing many of the symptoms of menopause. I do need to note that if you have any type of estrogen-dependent cancers, you should not use fennel. And if you are on anticoagulant drugs, have peptic ulcers or bleeding disorders, or if you have endometriosis, you should not use fennel. So that's just something to be aware of. Frankincense is a beautiful oil. It comes from India, North America, Oman, and Somalia. And the resin of the tree is distilled. And it's anxiolytic, meaning that it is very grounding and can reduce occasional stress and anxiety, which does come along with menopause. It has a sedative property that promotes that calming, balancing of the mind, body, and spirit. It's great for meditation. It's used for menopause symptoms to reduce that occasional stress and anxiety, the tension. It helps promote your balance back to a good emotional state. And, I noticed, and I know this from other women just talking to them who have gone through menopause. Anxiety kind of comes about during a hot flash. It just overtakes your body, and that's when frankincense really came into play personally for me. Anytime that I had that feeling of anxiety, that heightened anxiety, especially during a hot flash, I turned to frankincense to balance my emotional state. So that is a very important oil for me to have at that time when I was going through menopause. So next is geranium. And besides its beautiful scent, it reduces hot flashes and other menopause symptoms. The country of origins are China, Egypt, Madagascar, and a place called Reunion Island. Its aroma is very uplifting, soothing, and grounding. So that, again, helps with the anxiety, tension, agitation, and mood swings that come along with menopause. So it does reduce hot flashes, and it blends well with clary sage again. So clary sage and geranium are two that would be very well put together. And I would even add geranium, frankincense, and clary sage together for a beautiful, grounding, calming smell. That's great for your hormone balance as well. With geranium, there is a very small risk of skin sensitization. So also avoid use if you're on any diabetic medication. So talk to your doctor first if you want to use geranium if you're on any diabetic medication. We've got a few more here. Lavender. Lavender's origins are Bulgaria, England, France, and North America. The flowering tops, which are the beautiful purple flowers, are steam distilled to produce what I personally feel to be the most amazing gift given to us by God and Mother Nature. Lavender's calming properties make this essential oil perfect for helping you get a real restful night's sleep. It also promotes a feeling of relaxation that reduces those effects of occasional stress and anxiety. You just basically just rub a drop of pure essential lavender oil along with 4 drops of carrier oil onto your feet. I'd say about a half hour prior to bedtime, and you'll start to feel your body and your mind prepare for that sleep. And during menopause and night sweats, we can wake up off and on, so keep that lavender close to you and just reapply or add it to a roller ball so it's easier for you to do that throughout the night. Peppermint. Peppermint is an amazing oil to have around when you have menopause. Its origin plant is England, France, and the U.S. Most of us are really familiar with the aroma of peppermint in some form or fashion because peppermint is a very popular herb found in teas, baking and cooking recipes, candies, and even medicinal products. Its leaves are distilled to create the beautiful aromatic essential aroma that we are all used to. Menthol is a main component of the peppermint plant that gives it both a warming and cooling effect. It's an essential oil that can help reduce the hot flashes. I recommend using a spritzer with distilled water and some peppermint in it in a glass spritzing jar. When you have that hot flash, you can just spritz your body and it will actually cool you down. So it also has an aroma that's a stimulant. So when you smell peppermint, give a long, good inhale in of peppermint. It uplifts your spirits, makes you be more aware. It can actually give you a sense of happiness, especially when you're feeling sluggish. So peppermint's a really good essential oil to definitely keep around during menopause. It also helps with concentration. If you're kind of getting towards the middle of the day and you're feeling frustrated and you wish your work day was over, take a nice long inhale with peppermint and that'll kind of get you going again. Now, peppermint is something that you should probably not use if you have an inflammation of the gallbladder or severe liver damage or the absence of gastric juices in your digestive tract. So if you have any of those issues, make sure that you seek medical advice before using peppermint. The last essential oil that I'm going to discuss for menopause is vetiver. And vetiver comes from Haiti, Sri Lanka, and India. And it was scarce for some time after the hurricane hit Haiti a few years back. It is a grass, but its roots are distilled to extract the essential oil. It is considered an aphrodisiac, so its properties may help heighten the libido because, like I said before, a lot of times women will have a symptom of lessened libido. So this might help with that. It also decreases sleeplessness, which is a common symptom of menopause. It has a very sweet, earthy, and woody scent. It is a super amazing essential oil. I use it a lot for helping with my sleep. And it does have a aphrodisiac effect to it as well. I personally love the scent. So that is menopause and how to manage your symptoms naturally. You're always welcome to ask questions. You can email me at info@angelicasage.com. For the DIY recipes and some links to the products that I discussed today, you can head over to angelicasage.com and just click on the blog link. And I will have the transcript of this blog there along with the recipes. And like I said, the links to some of the products that I discussed. One book that I would recommend is Herbal Remedies for Everyday Living by Anne McIntyre, and I do have a link to her book on my blog. So I hope you enjoyed the podcast today, and I will see you next week for the next podcast. And you guys have a great day.